understand it's very different. Now, obviously, I'm being extremely sarcastic.
Oh, he's so full of shit.
I'm just trying to point out what should be obvious to everybody. And that is Microsoft wants exclusive games.
Other breaking news. Water. Wet.
And they are willing to pay for them. When we talk about Redfall, when we look at this quote, I want to read it again. We were acquired by Microsoft, and it was a change with a capital C. They came in and they said, no PlayStation 5. We're focusing on Xbox, PC, and Game Pass.
Oh, boo-hoo. Yeah, I know I'm late, but listen. The Salt last week was utterly insane. There was so much to the point I realized I'm gonna have to pick one topic to make a video on, and then RE4 Remake came out and you couldn't pull me away from that game if you tried. The game is incredible. And now we have Salt from Microsoft removing the Game Pass $1 deal, which shouldn't be surprising to anyone, but before we do that topic, I have to at least cover one topic from last week. So, we're going to talk about Redfall, because Sony fanboys somehow are surprised a first-party exclusive is exclusive. What? A game, I remind you, they have stated repeatedly how mid it looks, which it does, to be honest, and how they don't care about the game. Well, their tune sure changed quick when it was revealed that after being acquired, Microsoft had them cancel a PS5 version reportedly in the works to focus on the Xbox and PC versions, a decision the devs themselves said was a good decision. So, without further ado,
so far Microsoft has bought and canceled PS5 versions, Psychonauts 2, Starfield, Redfall, Elder Scrolls 6, Indiana Jones most likely. Third-party timed exclusives canceled PS5 versions. Tetris Effect Connected, Yakuza Like a Dragon, Persona 5 Royal, Persona 4 Golden, Persona 3 Portable.
Twitter is the best place to go to see people say the dumbest things possible.
It's true.
And we're starting off strong, I see. First of all, Elder Scrolls 6 literally isn't even in development considering how Bethesda Softworks works on one game at a time, so they can't cancel a version that doesn't exist. Same goes for Starfield, by the way. Psychonauts 2 has a PlayStation version that you can play on your PS5, it's just not a native copy, which shouldn't matter, seeing how you can still, play the damn game. And then we get to the second tweet, which I assume was fueled by your pure unhinged autism, because Like a Dragon, Persona 5 Royal, and Tetris Effect Connected all have native PS5 versions. As for Persona 4 and Persona 3, once again, you can still play them on your PS5. You realize this, right? You realize you can play PS4 games on your PS5, correct? Please, don't tell me your cognitive faculties have deteriorated that much.
Disgusted after saying this!
Say it with me, kids. You can't take away a game that wasn't on the platform to begin with. What's funny is the PS5 version was cancelled about a year into development, so in all likelihood, the game probably wasn't even in a playable state. If there was a deal between Sony and Bethesda for Redfall, this would be true, but there wasn't. But there was for Ghostwire and Deathloop, both Bethesda games that got released on PS5 after the acquisition by Microsoft. Hell, they even got Private Division to do the PS5 version of The Outer Worlds. So they clearly aren't just going to take away games that are already on said platforms. Did you know there's a current gen version of Fallout 4 coming this year? And yes, it includes the PS5. But no, let's all complain about Redfall as if you guys had any interest in the game beforehand.
He's full of shit.
Interesting. So technically, they've taken a game from PlayStation.
Some people are really stupid.
No, they technically didn't, as it wasn't available on the platform, and it was never officially announced for the PS5. By the time Redfall was announced, they had already been acquired by Microsoft a year prior. But you know what was taken away though? Stellar Blade, a third-party game that was announced to be coming to all platforms until Sony decided to shell out money. But oh, that's okay, right? Because Sony can do no wrong. Like, I'm sorry, but the first-party studio making the game exclusive to their owner's platform is not equivocable to buying third-party exclusivity for a game that was previously announced to be multi-plat. And if you think they are, I weep for your teachers, because I can't imagine trying to deal with a student as brain dead as you.
Damn, Phil caught lying once again. So Phil Spencer just blatantly lied to all of us. We want more people to play games. Phil Spencer is a liar.
Oh, boo-hoo! Let me play a sad song for you on the world's smallest violin.
You know, I find it really funny. For years, y'all were saying Xbox has to compete with PlayStation exclusives. And then the moment they start doing so, suddenly it's, I thought they wanted more players to play more games. And here's the thing. They do. That's why they started porting to PC. That's why they're doing things like xCloud for mobile. In fact, the only places you can't play their exclusives is on Nintendo or PlayStation systems. But hey, I guess the statement, if you want to play X game, buy the system, only counts when it's about PlayStation, eh?
Sony creates, Microsoft takes.
A distinction without a difference.
Dum Dum here is unaware that every studio Sony has, with the exception of Santa Monica Studios, were bought by them. And I already know what some of you are going to say, but they only bought studios they had close relationships with. Yeah, and Bethesda has always had a close relationship with Microsoft. That's why Morrowind was exclusive to the OG Xbox, and why Oblivion was exclusive for an entire year to the 360. But their relationship with Bethesda is completely different to Sony's relationship with Insomniac and Naughty Dog, right?
I was vindicated, y'all. Phil yanked me from the jaws of victory on God, bruh.
Do you know what that word means? Yeah, what's that mean?
All them goofy-ass Xbox, Microsoft stands, fake journalists, and Phil fluffers have to hold that L. They attacked pregnant female FTC regulators, EU commissioners, and CMA UK advocates who were just protecting consumers from trillion-dollar corporate unfair practices.
You are a sad, strange little man, and you have my pity. Farewell.
You know, I'd ask for a citation, but you get your news from places like PlayStation Lifestyle, Push Square, and your schizophrenic mind. Because I couldn't find a single thing about FTC regulators, pregnant or otherwise, being attacked about the Microsoft deal. Unlike, say, PlayStation fanboys sending bomb threats, doxing patients, sending dick pics to developers, all of which was very well documented, and yet you cannot even bring a single screenshot proving your claim. Get back in the short bus, J-Dub. It's time to learn shapes today.
Today I learned it's only okay for Microsoft to spend money to take games away from rival console/platforms, but only Microsoft, no one else.
Thank you for your irrelevant opinion.
Oh, you thought I forgot about you, MGB? Oh, hell no. You get your goofy ass over here. So, first off, as I said earlier in the video, a first-party studio making their game first-party is not the same as paying a third-party developer to keep their game off of the other platform after it was announced for the system. And if you think it is, you have the mental capacity of a brain-damaged weasel. But hey, instead of just responding to this tweet, why don't we take a look at the rest of the meltdown you were having at the start of the video?
What does that look like to you? To me, that looks like Microsoft basically buying a third-party exclusive.
Are you retarded?
I mean, dude, I am seeing people fight against this and push against this. I am seeing Xbox fans try so hard with the mental gymnastics to explain to me, dude, it is different. How is it different?
Because Microsoft owns Bethesda Softworks, you troglodyte, and no one knew about Redfall prior to its announcement, which, once again, was after the acquisition. There are no mental gymnastics being done here except by you. Sony does not own the Stellar Blade IP, nor the developer. When Stellar Blade was announced, it was announced as a multi-plat. Sony didn't fund Stellar Blade, and neither did they fund Final Fantasy VII Remake, which, by the way, still isn't on Xbox, literally due to Sony paying Square Enix for third-party exclusivity. And last I checked, they don't own Square Enix either. I called out Xbox when they paid to make Rise of the Tomb Raider exclusive for a year, but hey, at least when that game's contract was up, Xbox didn't re-up like Sony is doing with FF7R currently. You either have to be an idiot or willfully ignorant to not see the difference here, MGB.
I mean, really, when we whittle everything down to its core, what the fuck is different here?
About 60 or 70 points of IQ.
What is different?
If you honestly can't tell the difference, then I'm sorry, you're just a lost cause at this point.
I need to know at the end of the day. You know how it is with the Xbox guys, right? It's all about the consumer. It's all about how does this impact the consumer? So that's my question to everybody who wants to explain to me why it's different. How is this different for the consumer at the end of the day?
Look, you have been defending exclusives for years, MGB. We all know this. You didn't cry about the consumer when Spider-Man, a third-party massive IP, got a Sony exclusive game because they had a deal with Sony after Microsoft turned them down. Does it suck? Yes, but Microsoft had the chance to make one and they said no. So, okay, whatever. Microsoft is to blame for that one. You didn't cry when From Software's new IP Bloodborne was exclusive because Sony published it and owns the Bloodborne IP. And while they are publishing Stellar Blade now, the major difference here is that Bloodborne, from its reveal, was exclusive to PS4. They never announced it for Xbox or PC, unlike Stellar Blade. And Final Fantasy VII Remake is even more damning because Sony isn't even publishing that game. They're just paying to keep it off of Xbox. I know I sound like a broken record, but there's really nothing else to say here. Microsoft owns Bethesda. Sony may own publishing rights to Stellar Blade, but they certainly didn't own it when it was initially announced as Project Eve. And they don't own Square Enix or the Final Fantasy IP. And let's be honest here. You never gave a shit about Redfall because it's exclusive to Xbox. The only reason you suddenly care is so you can soapbox about how bad Xbox is to the industry and how much more magnanimous Sony is, when the truth is, neither company gives a shit about you. They don't care about the consumer, they care about what's in your wallet. If you trust Sony, you're an idiot. If you trust Microsoft, you're an idiot. If you trust Nintendo, you're an idiot. And if you call out one company for making a first-party game exclusive, but not the other company for paying to keep third-party games off of the opposite platform, then you're an idiot. And you know what? Screw it. I can't with this moron. Thank you all for tuning in. If you liked the video, like, comment, and subscribe if you feel so inclined. As always, to stay up to date on all things crab, you can follow me on Twitter via the link in the description below. And if you want to join the Discord, you can do so via the link in the description below. And I'll see you all in the next video.